William Shakespeare. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon. He was born on 23 April, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire, England. His father's name was John Shakespeare and mother's name was Mary Arden. His father was a successful local businessman and mother was the daughter of a landowner. Shakespeare was the third son of his parents. He was baptized on April 26, 1564. Little is known of Shakespeare's childhood and education. It is speculated that he attended the King's New School in Stratford, where he learned to read and write. Since all the grammar schools then followed the same curricula, it is believed that he received intensive education in grammar based upon Latin classical authors. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway at the age of 18 in 1582. She was 8 years older than him. They had 3 children. They are Susanna Hall, Hamnet Shakespeare, and Judith Quiney. William Shakespeare has been conferred with the honor of being England's national poet and Bard of Avon. Though it's not exactly known as to when did Shakespeare begin his writing career, records of performances show that his plays started to feature on the London stage by 1592. Scholars refer to the years between 1585 and 1592 as Shakespeare's lost years. In 1592, London theatre scene, Shakespeare's writings were called as rubbish by another playwright. Afterwards, the same playwright documented his biography. Shakespeare's plays were solely performed by Lord Chamberlain Company in 1594, of which Shakespeare himself was one of the actors. After the Queen Elizabeth died, the new King James I issued a royal patent to the company, and it was renamed as The King's Men. In 1598, William Shakespeare's name appeared on the title page of the work. By 1599, Shakespeare's work were famous all over the globe. He continued writing until at least 1613. He wrote 38 dramas, 154 sonnet, 2 long poems. His best work was Hamlet, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, etc. Talking about the style that Shakespeare adopted for his work, he was extremely innovative. He adapted the traditional and convention style in his own way by adding metaphors and rhetorical phrases. However, the additions hardly ever align to the plot or the characters of this story.
Who was William Shakespeare again?
Well known, the Bard was an English author of famous plays about a lot of different things, and he lived during the Elizabethan era. But why is Shakespeare considered such a great artist? Born in England in 1564, he started his career as an actor and playwright as a member of the actors group the Lord Chamberlain's Company, which would later become the King's Company. They played in several theatres until they eventually built the famous Globe Theatre, their very first own stage. As there were only male members in the company, every role had to be played by men. But that wasn't the reason why Shakespeare's plays like Othello or Hamlet were very popular. To match the various tastes of a diverse audience, Shakespeare created texts of high complexity, containing relatively simple plots as well as subtle nuances. Being the key to his success, his stories also contained multiple interlocking plots, twists and confusions, containing something for everyone in the audience. So it wasn't just the common people who enjoyed his works, his company even played at the King's Court for the amusement of the aristocracy. Besides the plays, Shakespeare also wrote a multitude of sonnets and poems. At first, his work consisted almost exclusively of histories and comedies like A Midsummer Night's Dream and Henry VI. Later, tragedies like Hamlet also became part of his portfolio. In his work, Shakespeare used his own special language, rich in metaphors and vivid images. He even created new words which became firmly established. As a consequence, many English words used today, like lonely and gossip, make their first appearance in one of his plays or sonnets. Shakespeare died in 1616 at the age of 52. But his plays are still performed today and amaze audiences. Shakespeare's stories have found their way into many of today's movies, books, and even music. And fortunately, nowadays, women can also play Juliet.